I'm Christopher Park, and I'm running for City Council in Ward 3. My family and I have had the pleasure to call Melrose our home for nearly 8 years. My wife Yansu and I are raising 2 kids, one in 5th and one in 1st grade, both at Roosevelt Elementary. Professionally, my career has been in tech. Started in software development, then moved to the business side because I love bridging gaps and helping people understand what technology can and cannot do. I'm running for City Council because this is a natural progression and extension of what I already do in Melrose, and I'd like to do more. I've supported the override campaigns in 2019, 2024, and now 2025, serving as a ward captain in the last 2. I've worked with city engineers to install a 4-way stop at Vinton and Emerson, making that intersection safer for everyone. And I pushed to bring the 14 Tremont Street project closer to our housing production plan, meaning more green space with a smaller footprint. I'm also a big supporter of Follow Your Art, Melrose Youth Hockey and Soccer, and Porch Fest. My priorities are straightforward. First, pass the override and stabilize our budget. Unfortunately, costs are growing faster than our revenue, and the levy limit has become insufficient for our community needs. We simply cannot afford to provide the type of quality education and services we expect from our city. The math simply doesn't add up. As a result, we've made cuts to the DPW and our law enforcement, reduced funding to the senior center, and removed many amenities like public trash bins and library hours. I don't think anyone likes the path we're on, and it's not sustainable. An override now and when needed in the future is a responsible step in protecting essential services. Second, I want real communication, not a slogan, not a catchphrase, but ongoing conversations. There's a lot of misinformation out there regarding our city and budget, and I will be holding regular office hours open to everyone, not just Ward 3, to ensure we're all on the same page. As many of you already know, I have been meeting with you on your block, at your door, and in our public spaces in my canvassing. I plan to continue this as your counselor, and not just during election season. I will build a Ward 3 hosts network for informal gatherings and meetups, and I will keep my website, christopherformelrose.com, updated with clear, consistent progress reports. Finally, we must reduce our over-reliance on residential property taxes and pursue smart, diversified revenue, and I'm looking forward to working with my fellow city councilors to achieve this. In short, I hope to achieve stronger schools, safer streets, a welcoming neighborhood, and a Melrose that works for everyone. A good councilor listens, shows up, solves problems, and responds. That's what I expect as a resident, and that's how I'll serve as your councilor. Again, I'm Christopher Park, and I'd be honored to earn your vote. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rob Stewart, and I've had the privilege of representing Ward 3 on the Melrose City Council for the past 6 years. I'm running for re-election because I believe in consistent, responsive leadership focused not on headlines, but on the everyday work that keeps Melrose running. That means being prepared for City Council meetings, listening carefully to individuals, and following through. Whether it's a missing trash pickup on Adams Street, overgrown bushes at Conan Park, or a notice for better pest control by overflowing dumpsters, I treat every concern with respect and urgency. I've worked to improve street safety across the city by supporting several traffic calming initiatives. This includes installing flashing crosswalks near schools and senior centers, adding stop signs at high traffic intersections like Trenton and Vinton Street, and deploying speed indicators on busy corridors, including Lebanon and West Wyoming Avenue. These are practical steps that make our neighborhoods safer and more livable. I've also endorsed the override as part of the Council's unanimous support. This is necessary to preserve the services our city provides, including public services such as police, fire, and health, our education system, infrastructure, and community programs. Without this additional funding, we're going to risk losing these important services that might make Melrose strong. When it comes to schools, I've backed investments in facility upgrades, classroom technology, and policies that support both academic success and emotional well-being. I bring a strategic mindset to city governance, asking hard questions, weighing long-term impact, and building consensus. My background in technology sales for life sciences helps me approach these problems with clarity and purpose, whether it's budgeting, zoning, or community planning. I'm proud of what the city has accomplished and being a part of these advancements with limited resources. We have a new library, responsive police and fire services, improvements to schools, and additions to playgrounds, and our support for seniors. This is real progress, yet there's more to do. So on November 4th, I'm asking for your continued trust and support, and I thank you for your consideration.
Hello, I'm Philip Gindy. I have proudly called Melrose home for 50 years. I'm running for City Council in Ward 4 because our city deserves transparent, thoughtful, and forward-looking leadership, grounded in experience, integrity, and innovative in government and school systems. I hold a BS in physics and computer science and a Juris Doctorate. I have been an engineer, executive, entrepreneur, a civil servant in the Air Force, a union negotiator, and now an attorney. This diverse background equips me to approach complex challenges with both analytical precision and practical insight. I bring a fresh perspective to how Melrose conducts business, whether it's increasing transparency in city government, advocating for responsible development, or strengthening public safety and fiscal accountability. I am committed to serving our community with creativity, fairness, and result-driven leadership. Recently, I was appointed treasurer of my church, reflecting my attention to detail and business acumen. My priority will be to request an investigation by the AG's office into the unaccounted $2.2 million from the last override. Our community deserves a clear and thorough explanation. I also support external auditors to review city finances. I will carefully scrutinize the allocation of the $13.3 million appropriated from the state and apply the same vigilance to any future overrides to ensure transparency, prevent mismanagement, and uphold accountability in our government and school. I strongly advocate for public education, transparency, fiscal responsibility, innovative revenue strategies, and intelligent cost cutting. Some specifics include make the maintenance and repair of roads and sidewalks a priority, closely manage the public safety building project to avoid cost overruns, institute provisions for future overrides to allow supporters to contribute more while opponents remain capped at 2.5%. Providing regular, transparent updates, making myself available for 2 hours per month to Ward 4 and all residents to discuss local issues. I am prepared to forego any compensation, including benefits as a councilman, and challenge all candidates to follow my lead. I also challenge the mayor to take a voluntary salary cut, reverse all new positions she created, and restore police and DPW positions. Our city leaders should lead by example. City leadership must be regarded as a position of honor. Let's work together to make Melrose stronger, smarter, and more responsive to the need of every resident, always with full transparency. I ask for your vote on November 4th. Thank you.
My name is Ward Hamilton, and I am currently an at-large Melrose City Councilor. With Councilor Garapay's decision to not seek re-election, I am taking the opportunity to run for Ward 4 so that I can better represent the interests of my neighbors. For the past 2 years, I've been focused on one thing, the city's finances. This has been the cause of several difficult and uncomfortable conversations, but I'm not complaining. This is exactly what I signed up for. I humbly ask Ward 4 residents for their vote on November 4th so that I can continue to ask tough questions and do the work necessary for Melrose. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Brad Freeman, and I'm running to represent Ward 4 on the Melrose City Council. I was raised in a family that believed all politics is local, a lesson championed by my great-uncle, Tip O'Neill, and it's just as true today as it was when he first ran for office nearly a century ago. Local government has the biggest impact on our daily lives, our schools, our streets, our parks, yet it's often the level of government we think about the least. That's why I'm running, because Melrose is at a critical point as a city, and I believe my experience and community leadership can help deliver results that matter to us all. I've been deeply involved in our community for years, as a youth sports coach, commissioner on the Melrose Parks Commission, and board member for Melrose Youth Softball. I've also served as vice president of the Incarnation Baseball League and on the Winthrop Elementary Site Council, where both of my children attended. Professionally, I've spent more than 20 years working with the state and federal government. In my current role as Vice President of Government Relations for Massachusetts' 58 private nonprofit colleges and universities, I've delivered real results that benefit students and families, including leading a coalition that successfully created a state tax deduction for families saving for college. If I'm elected to the City Council, my focus will be on spending priorities that benefit all Melrosians, from reinvesting in our schools, to rebuilding our roads and infrastructure, to restoring community spaces and programming. I'll work to promote smart growth that keeps Melrose affordable and supports our small businesses. But I believe that must happen through genuine collaboration, with neighbors, the city, and developers sitting at the same table. Most importantly, I want to foster consensus and pragmatic solutions on the council. Melrose is strongest when we work together, when we focus on policies that strengthen the community we all love. The most important job of a counselor is to first listen, learn, and then lead. I promise to be accessible, transparent, and accountable, and to always represent the needs of our ward with integrity. Since entering this race, I've walked every street and knocked on every door in Ward 4. The conversations I've had with so many of you have deepened my love for Melrose and strengthened my conviction that we deserve a local government focused on getting things done. To learn more about my campaign, please visit bradformelrose.com. On November 4th, I would be honored to earn your vote to represent Ward 4 on the Melrose City Council. Thank you.
My name is Devin Romanul, and for the past year and a half, I've been proud to serve as your Ward 7 City Councilor. My goal is simple: to make Melrose the best city in America to raise a family. Melrose is home. It's where my wife Abby and I are raising our kids, Jack, Ellie, and Charlie, along with our dog Bruce, and where we co-founded a small business together. Outside of City Hall, I volunteered at my kids' school library, coached youth sports, and served on the Melrose Energy Commission. And after losing my mother-in-law to ALS last year, Abby and I became active in ALS fundraising, advocacy, and marathon running, a reminder that service does not end when the meeting adjourns. My professional life has also been about public service. I grew up in Mansfield, Massachusetts as an Eagle Scout, earned a master's degree in public policy from the Harvard Kennedy School, and began my career advocating for increased worker wages and behavioral health funding and stronger child welfare supports with the National Association of Social Workers. For over a decade, I've worked in city management, and today I work with mayors across the country through a nonprofit called Fuse Corps, helping cities launch pilot programs that create real opportunity, from first-time homebuyer initiatives to entrepreneurship and infrastructure projects. I have personally raised and deployed over $55 million worth of programs in just the last few years in cities like Austin, New York, and Atlanta. As a city councilor here in Melrose, I focus on three things: community engagement, tangible results, and radical transparency. On number one, the engagement front, I conducted the first ever universal budget survey, visiting every household in Ward 7 to hear your priorities. That feedback directly shaped my budget advocacy, funding real needs like sidewalk repairs and playground upgrades and flooding fixes. I also meet with community groups to advocate for things their neighborhood needs as well. On number two, results, Ward 7 has seen real progress: new sidewalks on Swains Pond, playground equipment and security lighting at the Hoover, wastewater upgrades on Penny Road, and flood mitigation for Sylvan and Lebanon streets, including matching funds for a $1 million FEMA grant and planning dollars for an eventual $12 million state grant for the Lebanon Street rebuild. We secured a plow for Pine Banks, protected our slope protection ordinance, and stood with the Foss Park neighborhood to ensure their voices were heard. And this spring, I ran every step of every street in Ward 7, all 20 miles in one day, mapping potholes and getting dozens filled. I don't just talk about fixing roads, I actually fix them. And number three, when the work is done, I make sure you know about it. I break down every penny the city spends and post those videos online, bringing an unprecedented level of transparency and public education to city government operations. This job is about listening, solving problems, and leading with integrity. I will never resort to name-calling or falsehoods. Melrose deserves leaders who tell the truth and lead with respect. My name is Devin Romanul. I am proud to serve Ward 7, and I'd be honored to earn your vote. Join our campaign to make Melrose the best city in America to raise a family at devinfor7.com.
Hello, I'm Alex Rodriguez, and I'm running to represent Ward 7 on the Melrose City Council. 2 years ago, we put our trust in new city leadership to make Melrose stronger and more responsive to you. You have heard Councilor Devin Romanul and I debate the issues over the last several months. And as we get closer to Election Day, I want to end by asking you a very important question. Since the last election, has life in Melrose become any easier for you and your family? Are our schools better and more sustainably funded? And are our teachers more supported? Are the roads and sidewalks in front of where you live safer? Do you feel City Hall is listening and responding to the concerns you and your family face every day that can actually be addressed by local government? Or only those of their loudest and most active supporters? But even more important is the question we will answer on November 4th. What do we want Melrose to be like 2 years from now? You see, I want to live in a city that can be a place where families of every generation can thrive, where our schools have the capability to prepare our young people to be competitive in a world of increased automation, machine learning, and globalization, where every voice is heard and respected regardless of how much we might disagree with one another. And most importantly, your elected leaders understand that they work for you and no one else. That's the Melrose I'm fighting for. A stronger, more vibrant community for all of us. And on November 4th, I would be honored to earn your vote so that together we can ensure that Melrose's best days will always lie ahead. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Dionysios Kaskarelis. People know me as Dion. I'm running for councillor at large. I'm a husband, father, homeowner, and as of 2 months ago, a US citizen. Running for office this soon might be a record, but for me, it's natural to give back to the community that supported me. My wife Gloria and I moved to Melrose from Jamaica Plain in May 23 with our young son Leo and senior dog Gustavo. We chose Melrose for its schools and community. Our neighbors welcomed us with warmth and kindness. Watching our children play together is what makes Melrose feel like home. I'm running because I love Melrose. I've invested here for the long term and I want to see the city thrive. I believe in empowering residents by bringing their voices to City Hall and making government work for all of us. Growing up, I lived in 9 countries by the age of 24. That experience shaped my global perspective, respect for diversity, and ability to work across differences. My Greek heritage defined my guiding principles of freedom, democracy, and public service. These are the values I want to bring to City Hall. Professionally, I run a Melrose-based business focused on expanding access to home ownership. Before that, I spent over 15 years in public service as an international civil servant leading economic development across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Soon after we arrived to Melrose, we faced important financial challenges. Neighbors lost jobs. Children lost opportunities. In conversations with residents and elected officials, I felt compelled to get involved. That engagement led to this campaign. I want to build on what's working and shape forward-looking solutions. My priorities are to support schools, public safety and infrastructure, to strengthen financial systems for greater transparency, inclusion, and resilience, and to diversify city revenue to reduce our over-reliance on household taxes. These are uncertain times, and as a first-generation immigrant, I've learned how to live with uncertainty. But I've also learned to hope. That hope gives me the strength to dream beyond what seems possible. My journey, raised across borders, to US citizen, to candidate for local office. It's a reminder of what's still possible, right here in Melrose. When we believe in each other and in our city, anything is possible. I'd be honored to earn your vote on November 4th. To learn more, visit DionysiosForMelrose.com. Thank you for listening and for being part of what makes Melrose so special.
Hello, I am Jamaleddine, and I am honored to be running for re-election as your Melrose City Councilor at large. For the past 6 years, I've had the privilege of serving this incredible city that I'm proud to call home. As the former chair and now vice chair of the Appropriations and Oversight Committee and chair of the Legal and Legislative Committee, I've worked to ensure every tax dollar is used wisely, that decisions are made transparently, and that our city government remains accountable to the people it serves. I am a mom of 4, a community advocate, and someone who has built a career helping organizations grow stronger through equity and inclusion. Those experiences have shaped how I lead, with both heart and discipline. I believe leadership means listening deeply, asking the tough questions, and making decisions that balance compassion with responsibility. Over the years, I've championed the creation of a social worker position to support our older adults, advocated for investments in our schools, roads, and infrastructure, and pushed for greater transparency in our budget process so residents can see where their money goes and how it's making a difference. Through every challenge our city has faced, I've shown that I am not afraid to make the difficult decisions when resources are limited, because doing what's right isn't always easy, but it's always necessary. Melrose is a city built on connection between generations, neighborhoods, and people who care deeply about their community. I am running for re-election because I believe in that spirit of togetherness. There is more work to do, keeping Melrose affordable for families and seniors, preparing for the future with sustainable planning, and continuing to invest in the people and programs that make this city thrive. I love Melrose, its energy, its history, and its people, and I will continue to serve you with integrity, empathy, and unwavering dedication to every resident, no matter your age, backgrounds, or neighborhood. I am Maya Jamaleddine, and I would be honored to earn your voice, to earn your vote for Melrose City Councilor at Large. Together, let's keep Melrose moving forward with care, courage, and community at the heart of everything we do.
Hi, I'm Ryan Williams, and I'm running for re-election to the Melrose City Council as a councilor at large. I've lived in Melrose for the last 10 years, and I've served on the City Council since 2021, first as the councilor from Ward 7 and now as a councilor at large. You might know me from my work around the city to improve safety and accessibility on our streets and sidewalks with parklets, sidewalk improvements, or neighborhood traffic calming, or for my support of sustainability initiatives that strengthen our city's finances, clean up our air and reduce climate pollution, and improve our quality of life, like our new all-electric trash truck, and energy-efficient upgrades to our public buildings and schools. This work has guided my core vision for the future of Melrose as a safe, vibrant, and thriving community where people work together to overcome our differences without leaving anyone behind. Over the last 4 years, I've had to cut millions of dollars from our city's budget to meet the challenge of rising costs while fighting to secure as much funding as possible for our schools, our neighborhoods, and our residents. I'm proud to support the resident-led effort to pass an override with my words and my actions, because I know what comes next if we choose to ignore this risk. More layoffs for our teachers, police, firefighters, and other city employees, costing us the services we expect and robbing our kids of the opportunities they deserve. We risk failing to meet our pension obligations, one of the fastest growing expenses in our budget that will cost us millions over the next decade. And we might be unable to shoulder the rising cost of even the most basic necessities, electricity, gas, and everyday supplies because of new taxes like tariffs. Alongside these challenges, we have to keep up with the everyday needs of running the city, fixing streets and sidewalks, maintaining our kids' playgrounds, parks, and playing fields, and planning ahead for housing growth and an aging population that deserves to stay in the community they call home. 4 years on the City Council has taught me a lot. I've learned that we need to put residents at the center of everything we do, and we need to listen to everyone, even the people we disagree with, to ensure that we're taking all ideas into account. I've also learned that when we work together, we can achieve great things. If reelected, I pledge to continue putting all of these lessons into everyday practice. I'll be accessible, thoughtful, and I'll make every decision with my fellow residents in mind, because that's the only path forward for us that works. And if you want to see a city that works for you, please vote for me, Ryan Williams, City Councilor at Large.
Hello neighbors, I'm Jason Chen and I'm running for City Council at Large in Melrose. I'm a veteran, a husband, and a father, and I look forward to serving all of you. I'm so grateful to raise my family here in Melrose, in our beautiful town. We have 2 boys, we live near the Roosevelt. My boys are 10 and 12, so we spend a lot of time on the soccer sidelines, and my wife and I spend a lot of time trying to keep them off screens. I went to the Naval Academy and after that served 8 years as a submariner in the US Navy. When I got out, I did an MBA and an engineering master's at MIT, and we settled down here to start our family 13 years ago. For my day job, I work for Corning Life Sciences, and it's the same Corning glass company that's been around for 175 years. I love to build things. I run manufacturing lines, manage hundreds of global suppliers, do distribution, warehousing, and service operations, and these days I get to lead a new products team of program managers to deliver products to all the biopharma and life sciences industries. So we do things like cell growth chambers that help scale up the modern cancer therapies. And we made all the glass vials that Pfizer made for COVID vaccines. I like to go deep. I like to design parts, make things. I can drive a forklift if you need. I can troubleshoot machines and electronics, and I'm always learning. And I can design assembly lines or design entire factories. And I think for that reason, Mayor Broder chose me for the Public Safety Buildings Committee, which I've been on for the past 4 years to try to figure out how to renovate our 3 fire stations and police station. In the past couple months, I've knocked on hundreds of doors and met a number of you at events. And I realized that most of us want the same things. We want good, clean, safe streets. We want good schools for our kids to thrive in. We want meaningful jobs that pay decently and contribute to our communities. And we want our parents and our grandparents to age gracefully and live full lives near us. And we want these things not only for ourselves, but also for people around us in our community, the people we don't know, the people that are a little different than us, or the people that might not have voted the same way in the last election. So this is my first time running for public office, and I am not a career politician. I'm running because I still believe that good government can serve the people. And I get that some of us are struggling and that times are hard these days. And we don't have enough dollars and money to do everything that we want. And to be honest, we never will. What we do have is plenty of smart, kind, and willing people who can figure out how to do the most with what we have, with what we can control. And we, the people of Melrose, can control a lot. So I ask for your vote on November 4th, and I wish you well. Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Kowal, and I'm running for councilor at large. I'm running for city council because you deserve an advocate who will do the hard work, ask the tough questions, and advocate for all residents of Melrose while helping to set a strategic path for the city that is fiscally responsible and beneficial to the community. I began to volunteer my time to Melrose when I learned that the police station will be moving into the BB School site, which is next to my home. I joined the Public Safety Buildings Advisory Committee, where I advocate for my neighborhood and for the other neighborhoods who will be impacted by this work. I am also on the Human Rights Commission. I have loved this work, and I know I can do more for more people. I am a yes, yes, yes on the override, but I do have reservations. I believe strongly in the substance of what the override is seeking to do. While I may not have children in the schools, I am the product of a public education. And I passionately believe that strong public schools are the foundation of a vibrant community. We are also deferring repair work and maintenance. We are understaffed at the schools, school administration, and at City Hall. Voting yes on the override is not an easy task. Like many in our community, I've been frustrated by how some city funds have been managed in the past. It's hard to support an override where there are real concerns about budgeting and spending. But I also know that withholding support now won't fix what happened in the past. It will only hurt our schools, city services, and our neighbors who rely on them. Voting yes on the override doesn't mean giving the city a blank check. It means we value our public schools, our library, emergency services, and the long-term health of Melrose. At the same time, we must hold our leaders accountable for responsible budgeting moving forward. Both can be true. Communication, visibility, and accountability is at the heart of everything I do. You don't have to believe me. You can ask my neighbors, whom I represent on the Public Safety Buildings Advisory Committee. I went to Colby College and earned my law degree from Northeastern. After years of practicing employment law, I ultimately found my professional home as a human resources executive for global technology companies. I am a forward-looking strategic thinker who understands the need to keep business objectives in mind while not losing sight of the heart of the business, its people. I will bring this same outlook and philosophy to the City Council. What attracted me to Melrose 12 years ago still holds true. I love Melrose because it's a community that strikes the right balance, a blend of old and new, where tradition and progress live side by side. We need to work together to keep all of that true, and it's what I want to help protect and build on. I hope you will consider voting for me in this upcoming election.
Hello, Melrose. My name is Camarie Clark, and I am running for school committee. I have lived in Melrose for over 22 years. I am the mother of 3 Melrose school students, a 20-year-old, a junior in high school, and a 3rd grader. I have had experience with all stages of our educational system. I have 3 guiding principles. First, stability. I believe we need strong, stable leadership, and hiring of a qualified superintendent is of utmost importance. The school committee needs to work hand in hand with that superintendent and the community to get us on the right path and in the right direction. Number 2, sustainability. With each decision, from budget to curriculum, we need to be looking at the long-term view. We cannot just look at the impact at the moment. We also need to look at the years to come. Without that, we will not see any unintended consequences. And third, leadership through listening. This is the unofficial slogan of my campaign. I have made a point during the campaign to ask questions of anyone willing to speak with me. It is interesting that I have had more than a few people tell me that since they do not have any school-age children, their input is not of value. Respectfully, I could not disagree more. Everyone in Melrose has an interest in the direction of our school system. How our children are taught and how we prepare them to enter the world affects us all. Our world is changing rapidly. It is our responsibility to prepare our students for life after high school, whether that is college or entering the workforce. With that in mind, I think we need to ask ourselves, by what metric will we gauge our success? And how can we make every student a productive member of society in whatever path they choose? If elected, I will use these guiding principles to ask the difficult questions, to be quiet when I should be listening, and represent the community as a whole. Again, my name is Camarie Clark. Thank you, and I hope to see you on November 4th.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Holleran. I'm running for school committee because I believe in the power of strong public schools to shape not only our children's futures, but the future of our entire community. When I was first asked if I'd consider running, I didn't say yes right away. I took time to reflect, to talk with my family, and to meet with current and former committee members. I wanted to be sure that this was the right decision, not just for me, but for Melrose. And after those conversations, I am confident that I will make valuable contributions to our school and our community as a member of the school committee. I'm a parent of 2 3rd graders at Roosevelt Elementary School. I'm a Melrose resident for almost 10 years, a product of public school education, and an active volunteer in our school community. I've volunteered with the PTO by serving as a room representative co-liaison in the library and in various other ways. I've seen firsthand the dedication of our teachers, the resilience of our students, and the passion of our families. My background in social work taught me the importance of listening, really listening to people's needs and perspectives. If elected, I will bring that same mindset to the school committee. I will listen to our students, our teachers, our administrators, and our families. I will ask thoughtful questions, seek out diverse voices, and work collaboratively to make decisions that reflect shared values. We are at a pivotal moment in Melrose. Our schools are facing real challenges, budget constraints, growing needs, and the pressure to do more with less. But I also believe this is a moment of opportunity. We can strengthen our schools by investing in our educators, supporting our students' learning needs, and ensuring every child feels seen, supported, and inspired to learn. I want every family in Melrose to feel confident in our public schools. I want every child to walk into their classroom excited to learn, knowing they belong. And I want our community to be proud of the education we provide our students and the support we provide our educators. This campaign isn't about me, it's about us. It's about building a school system that reflects the compassion, pride, and values of Melrose. I'm here to listen, to learn, and to give back to a community that has meant so much to me and my family. Thank you for your time and your support. I would be honored to earn your vote.
My name is Sheryl Leo, and I'm running for school committee. For more than 20 years, I've devoted my career to public education. I've done that in many ways, in classrooms and districts, hiring teachers and leaders, and supporting educators to make change in their communities. I'd like to take a minute to talk about where I began. Teaching was my first job, 2nd grade in a public school in Washington, D.C. I started the Tuesday after Labor Day, and as any teacher can tell you, the first week was mostly building community, establishing routines, and setting expectations. But a week in, I was excited to launch into the first story of our ELA curriculum. That morning, my 21 second graders settled in and we got to work. Then a parent knocked on my classroom door and said they were picking up their kid. That wasn't the process. Just like here in Melrose, the office normally called students down to meet their parents. But then another parent showed up, and another. Cracking open my classroom's old wooden door, I asked the third parent what was going on. She whispered that planes had hit the World Trade Center. When another hit the Pentagon, the principal announced an indoor recess. At the end of the day, I dismissed my 4 remaining students. My 6th day in the classroom was September 11th, 2001. That's when I began to learn what real teaching is, the weight of the responsibility I had signed up for, to keep the students in my classroom safe while helping them understand their world, a world that suddenly none of us understood. That the next generation depends on us, and every day we make decisions that set the path for their future. From that day, I dedicated myself to being the kind of adult that a child can depend on, supporting every student to find their path. Over the years, I have served that calling in different ways, but my focus has never wavered. I am running for school committee to put my experience and values to work on behalf of everyone who lives in and loves the city of Melrose. I invite you to join me in our shared responsibility to invest in our schools, support our educators, and build systems that meet the needs of every student. Schools where every student feels welcome, valued, and safe. Schools where every student can achieve their full potential. Learn more on my website, sherryformelrose.com. Please reach out, share where we can do better by our students and where things are going well. We have so much to celebrate here in Melrose, so much to build on. I look forward to being part of the conversation as we move forward together.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Razi-Thomas, and I'm running for re-election to the school committee. I have been on the school committee now for 8 years, which has been a privilege and an honor, as well as at times a challenge. I've learned a tremendous amount regarding municipal financing of schools, as well as state and federal funding of schools. Additionally, I've learned a lot about leadership on our committee, leadership in our city, and leadership of schools by superintendents, principals, and educators. When I considered whether to run again for a 3rd term, I thought about the work and the state of our schools currently. A phrase that my mother used to say kept coming back to me: always leave a place better than you found it. Right now, I wouldn't be leaving the committee better than I found our schools 8 years ago. In the last 2 years of budget cycles, we have had to make very hard decisions about where to put our resources into the schools. The cuts that we made in the last 2 years are having a negative impact on our upper schools, specifically at the middle and the high school. So we now have class sizes of 30 plus in academic classes in both of those schools. We have also had to cut out the team model at the middle school this year. We spared the elementary schools from raising class sizes significantly by making the cuts at the upper schools. Let me just say, this is an awful choice to make. Where will we harm children the least? I want to be part of the solution regarding fully funding our schools. I am public school proud and amazed by all our schools do every day to reach students. What's the most important service that a city or town provides to its citizens? Yes, that's right, a public education. Melrose as a community has a very important choice to make right now. It is a choice around whether to continue to harm children by making more and more cuts each year, or making a decision to fund our schools at a better level so educators can do their jobs well. Do we want to have great schools, or do we want to have schools that are struggling to meet the needs of the children who attend them? I will be proud to spend more money on our schools this November. This investment is long overdue. I know the educators are working their hardest to provide an excellent learning environment for each student, and I know the leaders are doing the same. I want to ask all Melrosians to consider how they can help out during this time of need. So I am running for re-election because I want to see the promise of our schools come to fruition by fully funding them. In doing so, we will retain the best educators, we'll be able to properly train, evaluate, and inspire new educators coming into the field. I'm also running again to help to maintain the most precious pillar of democracy, a public education. We should be proud that our schools are where all types of students come together to build a learning community. It's where we see all children from all walks of life creating a beloved second home. We don't pick and choose who enters our halls. We welcome all. Let's do right by our children this November. Please vote for me and vote yes, yes, yes on the 3 override questions. Thank you so much.